Oopsie. Good morning. Welcome to Just for Today, a time of eclectic readings, sharing of perspectives, meditation, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Columbia and Greater Baltimore. Today is June 28th. And what is alive in me to work with this morning is the fourth paragraph on page 161 of The Science of Mind, A Philosophy of Faith, A Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. It's actually the last paragraph under the subheading of The Technique of Acquiring Faith. And here is what Ernest Holmes offers us. We should be careful not to divide our mental house against itself. Having announced the law of liberty, we must not deny it. When we shall all know the truth, then ways and means and methods will be found for the freedom of all. The mold of acceptance is the measure of our experience. The infinite fills all molds and forever flows into new and greater ones. Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. This idea of liberty is the first thing that um, grabs my attention. Because I think sometimes we misconstrue the law of liberty as the law of license. And throughout different places in the text, Holmes speaks to that liberty is not license. Liberty is referring to our divine free will to use creation. Um, and that the law of liberty is the same as the law of manifestation. It is the law of the doer within creation that simply responds to every desire, every mental equivalent. And like it says in the reading, the mold of acceptance is the measure of our experience. The infinite fills all molds, and forever flows into new and greater ones. All molds, um, which means even our misuse of consciousness, even our ideas and our desires that are fundamentally out of alignment with the truth of our being are filled, are made manifest. Um, and so, this idea of accepting liberty, not liberty as I want it, not liberty as you want it, but liberty in grace, liberty the way creation has set it up. And my experience at a very personal level is that my acceptance of the creative process, the activity of law, the activity of liberty, the grace within creation that truly does fill every mold, that sees nothing as good or bad, right or wrong. Now, this is in the spiritual realm. I am not talking about human behavior here. Um, when I accept that, when I glimpse an understanding of it, and trust me, it is way more, for me, it is way more about acceptance than understanding because my human brain just doesn't get it a lot of time. And that doesn't preclude me from accepting that this is how it is. When I can do that, when I choose acceptance of liberty, the ability for each and every expression of creation to use creation with free of any guilt, shame, or blame, then I am empowered to do the same. And then I can look undefendedly at how I'm using consciousness, how I am using energy, my thoughts, what molds am I offering to be filled? And as I bring my own stuff into alignment, I bring in a greater possibility for all life because I raise the vibration of alignment. And that is the power that we each have, rather than focusing on the rightness or wrongness of someone else and their choices, to bring it back to our own, so that we are not, as the first sentence, so that we are careful not to divide our own mind, not to us and them, not to split into a duality of binary thinking. And then we are empowered to more deeply tap into that well of infinite, limitless possibility and be the change that we so deeply desire. Nothing easy about it, and yet so profoundly simple. So that's what's alive in me from our reading this morning. I will pause here and give you a moment to share your thoughts if you would like. Okay, I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and move us into our time of meditation and contemplation. And I think I will do that this morning by reading this paragraph again, and then we will just take that right into our time of meditation. We should be careful not to divide our mental house against itself. Having announced the law of liberty, we must not deny it. When we shall all know the truth, then ways and means and methods will be found for the freedom of all. The mold of acceptance is the measure of our experience. The infinite fills all molds and forever flows into new and greater ones. Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. one, one life, one consciousness, one mind, one God, one Buddha, one Allah, one great spirit, one great mystery, one quantum field, one energy, one divine being, one source that is the substance of all. It is beyond any name I have used or that can be used. And yet it is every name I have used and can be used. It is the seen and the unseen, the formed and the unformed, the known and the unknown. And yet, because it is the source and substance of all creation, all that it is must be fully present as and in its creation. And so the infinite intelligence that it is my intelligence. The unrestricted, unqualified love that it is the essence of my being. The very consciousness that is expressing in all of creation is my consciousness. And in this moment, when I use the word consciousness, I am referring to the substance of creation itself, rather than a state of awareness. I am consciousness in form. I am the creative process in form, fully infused with the agency to use creation. And what is true of me is true of all, each made of the same substance, each equally valued. And while no one expression is the whole expression of creation, creation is wholly present in each expression of itself. All of God, all of life, all of creation is fully present within me, and yet I am never all of creation. And so I claim and affirm that each expression of creation, each individualization of this one, is awakening to the reality that unity, indivisibility, is the nature of our being. That it is quite impossible to be truly divided. And so I claim and affirm that every thought that is creating the experience of division is brought into the individualized awareness to be owned, to be claimed, and then to be neutralized with truth. That every sense of separation in all the forms that it shows up in our rationales, in our judgments, in our defenses, in our adjectives, in our verbs, in our qualifiers. No longer distorts the truth of being. That we are each moving into that place of realization that life simply is. And that we are that expressing. I speak my word, claiming and affirming that the mental construct of hierarchy is neutralized. And with it, the very idea of power over becomes useless and unnecessary and unused. And the health and well being, the peace and prosperity, the joy and life of this one whole magnificent body of creation is the priority of every individualization of it. That each and every one of us is moving into that place of acceptance, of celebration. It lives the harmonious operation of one. With the very idea of a divided mind becomes a term we no longer use or understand or even remember. As we live the unity that we are. And knowing that the word spoken is the word fulfilled, I celebrate. I celebrate what is. I celebrate the law of manifestation, that law of liberty that fills every mold, has already filled the mold spoken, the mental image. It's already done. And so knowing at the core of my being that it's already done, I let go. I let go of how the outcome manifests. I let go of when it manifests in this human realm. I let go of finger pointing. I let go of any idea that the human me somehow needs to make happen what divinity has already done. I let go. I let go of all thoughts of resistance so that I can clearly see the path before me and say yes. I let go. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.